So the Mandalorian and Grogu actually came in under what they were originally projecting. They were trying to say over the weekend that it was doing so much better than projections, and now that the numbers are finally in, it's actually under $100 million for the Memorial Day weekend, and the media's making excuses.
Oh, shocker.
So we've got The Hollywood Reporter. Star Wars The Mandalorian and Grogu opens to series low $98 million in North America.
And that's for 4 days, guys.
For 4 days.
4 days.
Does it even matter? Does it matter?
Doesn't matter. Yes, it matters. Oh my God.
So we're gonna talk about this. They're basically blaming the pandemic now. They're saying
whoa. They're blaming the pandemic again?
They're blaming the pandemic. They said that everybody needs to temper their expectations for movies after the pandemic. I'm like, well, explain some of the other unexpected hits we've had since the pandemic. It's just people didn't want to go see the movie because it's basically just an episode of the TV show.
But wait. They're like, in the post-pandemic era, any title opening to that level will be celebrated. Not when it is a literal tentpole, which is like Star Wars or Marvel. Those are not good totals. I'm sorry. Making excuses like post-pandemic. I would argue that it's not post-pandemic so much as it is post-Hollywood idiocy era. And people just don't go to the movie theater anymore because they know they're going to get more of the same and they don't want it. And plus, this one was just a TV show all over again.
So let's talk about this, because I think it's really kind of funny, because I remember all the media outlets were like, look, Chuds, look, it's going to overperform. It's overperforming. Oh, look, it made all of its money back already. It's like, no, that's not even, they have to split with the theaters and the marketing. And no, it needs to make like 500 or 600 million to make any money.
The other thing they keep running with, and I've told this from somebody else, the movie has already amassed more than its production budget. That's not break even. And the thing is, Hollywood Reporter, you know better. I know you know better. That is not break even. And that's if you assume that the 165 million was the correct amount, because it usually comes in a lot higher than what they say. And they spent a ton of money on the marketing for this, way more than they normally spend. So that doesn't mean shit. And you know it doesn't mean shit, but you're going to run with it anyway.
So we're going to talk about that shit in this episode of Clownfish TV. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
This is Clownfish TV, and if you'd like more Clownfish TV, go out to more.clownfishtv.com. That's moreclownfishtv.com for more episodes. We do not post on YouTube. You will not find them anywhere else. They're exclusive to that site, and thank you so much to our reefers for the support. And also, if you want to listen to us on the go, make sure you never miss an episode. Go out and find the audio version of Clownfish TV on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. So, thank you for all of that. Anyway, this was over the weekend, 3 days ago, on Reddit.
Reddit.
Box office, Mandalorian and Grogu lifts off with $102 million over Memorial Day holiday. And there were multiple articles out there, and this happens all the time, especially with Disney movies. All these articles like, this movie's massively overperforming. It's doing so much better than anybody could have possibly expected it to do. Oh my God, guys, it's suddenly taking off. Exactly 10:32 on Sunday, this movie's going to take off and all these people are going to come in and start watching this movie. And that's not what happened. Actually, what happened was pretty much what we said. The people who wanted to see it early saw it early. The families went on Saturday, and then as the weekend went on, it just kind of dropped off.
Right, and it might have another good weekend, well, good relative, next weekend. But after that, we're having He-Man and Scary Movie, so I don't think it's going to do well past that. And it isn't as good. And then they kept, before the movie, lowering predictions. And this was still within those predictions that were already lowered before this.
Yes.
So it just didn't do well. And that's like for a 4-day, not a 3-day, a 4-day.
Yeah, so let's talk about this, because they're like, guys, it's the pandemic. The pandemic is blamed. Now, people are like, well, it's already made back its production budget.
They keep saying that to me, and it's like, that doesn't mean anything.
It's like, look, just here's the deal, guys. This is Star Wars. Even for a Marvel movie, this would have been an underperformer. I mean, that's the same with Captain America 4. Captain America 4 did, what, like 80 to 90 or something like that?
Well, that's what they always argue. They argue that there's a couple of these argue, well, it's production budget. Well, that doesn't mean much. And then they argue that it did really well for any movie. We'd be happy to have that. They said that for ones that came in at 70 million. It's like, guys, it's not for Star Wars. That's bad. For Marvel, that'd be bad. For Star Wars, is bad.
Yeah, and again, I do understand this movie was cheaper. Yes, I do understand that it is basically just an episode of the TV show, which Jon Favreau and Filoni, they admitted it in an interview.
Yeah, people try to say it's not true. That's not true. That's not what it is. And like they said,
no,
it
they
was.
totally said it was.
It is. It feels like it's more of the show. I'm sorry. Not that doesn't make it bad. Again, I want to point out that it was not a terrible movie.
No, it wasn't. We did a review, and people got pissed out. They got pissed at us for that too. We said, look, the movie itself was not terrible. It was an episode of the TV show. Mm-hmm. And that's your expectations going into it have to be that. Now, my expectations were completely on the floor. So, when there were a couple scenes I really liked, I was like, oh, okay, all right.
I mean, you have to remember too, like it's more like season 1 and 2, not 3.
Yeah.
There's season 3 characters in it. It's more like a season 1 or 2 when people were excited about it.
Yes.
It's good. It's a solid 6.5 to 7. And my kids will be here like 6, 7. It's definitely a solid. My son's probably in the room doing it now. It's a solid in between there. But I don't think that it didn't deserve like a huge box office because people are going to go to see it on Disney Plus where they're used to watching the show. This one was already doomed to start.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like when they dropped Stranger Things in the theater. It's kind of like a finale we're going to put in the theaters too.
They did it with K-pop Demon Hunters, but that was way after the fact. People went because they wanted to see it in the sing-along format. It was a different format. But this is just, I knew people would go. Like the people that are really excited about it are going to go. Most people are just going to wait till it comes to Disney Plus. It is what it is. Yeah,
I think the people that wanted to go see it went to go see it already. I could be wrong. But I think it's going to have a massive drop off in week 2 because the people that already wanted to see it went to go see it.
I mean, word of mouth is good. So
the word of mouth is
I'm not really sure where it's going to go.
Yeah,
but I think by the time Scary Movie 6 and Masters of the Universe comes out, it's going to be completely toast.
And that's a whole nother thing. Like apparently Gen Z is super excited about Scary Movie. Like that's tracking really, really well, and they think it's just going to destroy He-Man. They think it's going to be not good. Anyway, let's talk about this. They said it did 82 million for the 3 days. So that's what normally they would count a 3 day, but because it's Memorial Day, you get this extra bump, and it's misleading because now anymore they try to be like, well, from the Wednesday through the Saturday of next week frame, it made $200 million, guys. Oh my God, it's 9-day opening weekend.
I know, right?
It's like, come on. No, for the weekend, the actual weekend, it made 82 million, and then it made some more on Memorial Day. So they said after traffic slowed down somewhat toward the end of the holiday frame. Again, people went to go see it. The Star Wars fans, diehard fans, saw it. Previews, and then families went Saturday, and then people are like, yeah, I can wait for this one. Mm-hmm. They said in 2018, the ill-fated Solo, a Star Wars story, opened over Memorial Day weekend to 103 domestically, including 84 for the 3-day weekend. And you adjust that for inflation, it's higher.
It's significantly higher, yeah.
And also you got to take into consideration, we talked about this before, the ticket prices. I think what they need to start doing is tracking the number of seats sold because ticket prices are higher just in general.
I think it's interesting because they said this one, 40% of the audience were at IMAX, and the average ticket price was between 16 and 20 for IMAX. So if almost half your audiences are going to the bigger theater with the much higher price tickets, you had like almost half the audience paying higher prices for the tickets. So that meant that fewer people went to get that same amount of money. So it matters. I mean, the amount of money matters, and how many tickets sold at higher end theaters matter.
Yeah, it does. It does. But they said it marked the worst debut for a Star Wars movie since Disney bought Lucasfilm in 2012. Now it gets to pass that badge to The Mandalorian. Or does it? Overseas, it struggled badly in many markets. Science fiction.
We knew it would. You said it was going to. And it's Star Wars. It's not hugely popular overseas like it is here.
But they said when folding in Monday's earnings, okay, so it did 63 through Sunday. When folding in Monday's earnings, Mando's global total through May 25th stood at 167 million, just ahead of the film's reported budget of 165 before marketing and on par with Solo.
Again, that doesn't mean anything. That's before marketing. They're estimating marketing could be as much as that with this one because it was so ridiculous. They said at minimum it needs to do like 450, 500 million to break even.
Yeah.
So I'm like, That doesn't mean, but it made its production budget back. Yeah, but it didn't make its marketing budget back. And you have to remember too, it made its production budget back, but they don't get to keep the whole 167 million. They have to give the theaters their cut out of that. So no, it did not make its production budget back.
So what they're trying to say is that, like, Disney, famous for being conservative in regards to its mid-weekend estimates, projected a 4-day domestic opening of 102 on Sunday morning. So that's what went out to all the media outlets. It was 102. They said by Monday, the number was revised down to 100 and then down to 98. But they said, and they're right and they're wrong. They're right in the fact that, things are different now since the pandemic, because I think the movies cost too much. There's not enough interest in most movies to drive people to theaters, but they're like, the box office remains forever changed by the pandemic. And for
Is that
any
what they're going to?
Yes. And for any film, a $98 million 4-day opening is celebrated by the entire industry. Yeah, if it's not Star Wars, if it's not Marvel.
This person's so desperate to make excuses that because of the pandemic. No, and I would argue it's not even the pandemic at this point in time. It's not the pandemic.
Oh my God!
People don't go. Just wait a second. Why people don't go to the movies anymore is because Hollywood has put out subpar bullshit for the last several years, and they have done so many different things that have turned audiences away. That's why no one goes to the movies anymore.
Fun fact: Mando boasts the 4th best Memorial Day debut since COVID, and ahead of the $79 million debut of last year's Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Mission Impossible went up against Disney's mega blockbuster Lilo and Stitch, which opened to $182 million. Well, wait a second. You just got done saying that the movies aren't making the money they used to, but then you're pointing to Lilo and Stitch, and also you could probably point to Inside Out too, and some other Disney movies that actually have done really well.
Wait a second. To quote you. They also, they're complaining, say, well, it didn't do as well. The Final Reckoning didn't do as well because it went up against another movie. There was no competition there was no competition this weekend.
So that's actually worse.
That's my point. That's actually worse.
There's no competition. They're literally, this weekend was wide open, except for Mortal Kombat 2, which Mortal Kombat 2 is doing really, really bad, I guess. Which is a bummer, because the only reason we did not go see Mortal Kombat 2 is because we had COVID.
Ironically, yes. But yeah, they said here, so it beat Mission Impossible last year. And I'm like, yes, who was up against another film? There was no competition. So that's literally worse. Because at least that one only did 79, but it was up against, it had competition. This one had none. So what's your excuse?
Oh my God, okay.
Who wrote this shit?
Some LA journo, Pamela McClintock.
Okay, Pamela, let's go.
Okay, so this is not going to happen. This is not going to happen. So let me read this part here. This is not going to happen. So far this year, only one film has opened north of 100 million domestically, and that's Super Mario Galaxy. Okay. The pick is a blockbuster, be sure, with more than 980 million ticket sales to date, but playability has seen films such as sleeper hit Project Hail Mary open to 80 million on its way, grossing to north of 675 million globally. And Lionsgate's Michael Jackson movie opened to 97 million domestic and is about to jump to 800 million globally.
But the problem about that was the Michael movie didn't open globally higher than the U.S. anyway.
Yeah, because Michael Jackson's huge around the world.
So that's apples to oranges there. But anyway.
And that's Michael Jackson. Okay, so you want to compare it. Star Wars used to be the Michael Jackson of science fiction. Like, everything Star Wars was huge, right? And however much money you thought the movie was going to make, it was going to make more than that. And then, it's just not now. Thank you, Disney. They said all share one thing in common. They are PG-13 films playing to all audiences and Gen Z and families. Favreau's film has every chance of repeating this pattern. It has no chance in hell of doing. Project Hail Mary wound up kind of blindsiding people with how good it was. Mm-hmm. And it felt very much like an 80s movie. And, it was something new, but also familiar, and it was solid. And that was one where the word of mouth got out there, and it was like, yeah, this movie's actually really good. You should go see it. Michael Jackson, it's Michael Jackson. People say it's really good. I haven't seen it yet, but the theaters are always filled. We went to go see this, and there are people going to see Michael Jackson.
But I'm confused because movies don't do well because of post-COVID, but Deadpool and Wolverine opened to 211.4 million domestically and 441.1 million globally.
I know.
Opening weekend.
I know.
And I don't know if it did it have 4 days or 3. I don't even know. But it opened those numbers. So you can't say that. You can't make that argument, because I would say Star Wars was definitely on par with Deadpool and Wolverine as far as recognition, brand, etc., etc. That one opened to those totals. It was closer to COVID. So what this is just excuses, Pamela, Pammy. These are just excuses.
Yeah. Disney continues to point out that Mando began its life on the small screen. So they're saying it's a TV show. And look, if you want to compare apples to apples, I actually would compare it to Clone Wars. And it has the exact same plot as the Clone Wars movie, basically. But it's a Filoni thing and it's got Rod of the Hutt. But I would compare it to that, but that was a huge dud. And that was actually before Disney, but it was a cartoon. It was like, that was a big ask of people to be like, hey, let's watch a Star Wars cartoon on the big screen.
Well, we've been saying leading up to the opening that this was probably going to happen because people are used to watching it on TV. They're just going to wait for Disney Plus. Disney already has a problem with people waiting for Disney Plus to see their films. Yes. And you take something that's been a show, and honestly, you waited too many years. You'd done this 3-4 years ago, it would have been a lot bigger opening.
Well, Pedro was very busy doing literally everything.
Well, yeah, I was like, luckily, I don't think he's going to be in as much lately because people are just over him. But you waited too long on that. The strikes didn't push it back further, and then you did season 3. Like if you have the Ghidorah meme, that's the Kevin head, would be the season 3. And then you throw this in there after the fact, and that was a couple years ago. So you didn't have the interest in it. It is what it is. There's a lot of competition this year. Not this weekend. He's not going to have competition for 2 weekends and you still bomb. But more competition is coming. So, and right before that we had other stuff. It's just not going to do great. I'm sorry. And you can make every excuse under the sun. But it's not. This is not for Star Wars. This is bad. This is a bad level for Star Wars.
You know what? I'm going to go see this weekend instead of Mando again is Batman '89.
That's
We're
true.
going to go see Batman '89. It's playing in theaters this weekend.
Yeah.
It's into this weekend and into early next week. So some theaters limited release Batman '89. Taking my daughter to go see it. She loves Batman. She's actually never seen 89 Batman. So she's like, oh,
I think next week, isn't it? I thought it was next week.
Oh, yeah, maybe it is early next week. But it is playing this weekend, too.
Oh, you're going next week, yeah.
Yeah, but definitely check it out because it's cool. I tried to explain to her Batmania. Like, you don't understand. Like, the original Batman movie when it came out was huge. It was the Star Wars of 1989. It was massive.
It was.
And, it's Star Wars just isn't special. It's just not special.
It's not special, but beyond that, they've done so much damage to it. And but at this point, it's literally this is a TV show. They admit it. For all the articles, it's a movie. Nope, they admitted it was the next season that was condensed.
Yeah, they did.
Because Disney needed a movie put in there, and they thought this one would do well. They've admitted to it. So I'm sorry.
This whole decision just felt like the bean counters were in charge, and they were like, okay, so what do we got from Star Wars that actually we know is a sure thing? Okay, well, the Mandalorian and Grogu, Mandalorian's pretty popular. Let's make a Mando movie. Oh, you're working on season 4. Can we just like smush that into a movie and release that? Because we don't want to take a chance on a new movie because we don't know how it's going to do. But people seem to like the Mandalorian. So
the bean counters are counting on the bean flickers to come to the movie?
Pretty much, yeah.
Take that as you will. Anyway.
And then everybody's complaining, and they're like, "Oh, too many men."
Yeah, that was another thing. It was that someone wrote an article. There's too many men in it. Just like I don't even effing care. It was a cute movie, like I said, 6 to 7. I'll give you a moment to do the meme if you're younger. And I think my son's out there laughing. Anyway, it did what it did. It was an okay movie. I don't think it's going to do great at the theaters. I don't think. I mean, next weekend it might not drop off as much because people, are going to go see because people said it's good, but I don't think it's going to do well next weekend.
No, it's going to have a drop for sure.
It's going to be forgotten for sure in 2 weekends. This was its best shot at a big box office. That doesn't mean it won't pick up, over time, but it's not going to hit the levels. And this whole narrative, well, it met production budget. Well, no, it didn't because that's before the theatrical cut. That's how much it made. That's how much you get to keep of that.
I was looking into it, and supposedly this one needs 500 or 600 million.
Yeah,
even
that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, even with a lower budget, it still needs like 500 or 600 million.
They spent so much money on marketing, but right off the get go, just because that's how it did open weekend, they don't get to keep all that.
No.
The theaters get a cut. That's common sense. You are the Hollywood Reporter. You know that, Pammy.
Yes.
You know it.
They're just trying to be like, it's the pandemic. I'm like, man.
Yeah, okay, so what? It's not the pandemic. They didn't meet the production budget. You know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Get over it.
All right, so we'll see. I think this one is gonna honestly end about where Solo did in the 300 to 400.
Yeah,
million
maybe
range.
total.
And, I mean, they'll make it back over time. They'll make the money back on this one. And
It's not going to be merchandise unless it's Baby Yoda stuff.
Yeah,
they
there's
might
some,
get people
but not a
subscribing
lot.
just to watch it on Disney Plus when it gets put in Disney Plus, and they might get some digital sales. But you know, it'll probably break even in that regard. But it's not theatrically. I find it very hard to believe that it will.
And I gotta wonder. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. How long until Pedro Pascal just nopes out completely? Because he's already like he was barely in the movie. He has his helmet off for.
Oh
like,
yeah,
one scene.
he's not the one that's in the suit, which I loved, and I noticed at the theater that they gave the other actors credit right underneath him. Good, because they're the ones in the suit doing all the work.
Brendan
he just
Wayne.
puts his face in it for a couple minutes.
Yeah, Brendan Wayne is actually, which I did not realize he was John Wayne's grandson, is the guy who's in the suit most of the time. So John Wayne's grandson is the Mandalorian most of the time. Pedro Pascal just does the
Which
voice.
is actually,
and
because
jumps
they're
in
basing
there.
on old westerns, it's actually a very solid choice and might be part of the reason. But
Very solid choice. So anyway, we gotta wrap this up.
yes.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.